Hi, Nikki. How are you?
I'm good, Ryan. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm so happy to be speaking with you because I spoke with you last September on your film Maneater, and I
Yes.
knew this one was on the horizon. And when it came up, I was like, "Oh, I have to do it."
I love that you're back, and I love that you've got our poster in, as your backdrop. That looks badass.
Yeah, it does. And you were badass in this movie.
Ah, thank you.
So, how
Well,
did you how did you get attached to it?
the script was brought to me through Damon, who's a friend of mine, and we had actually done the shark movie together. And he's kind of like, "You ready to take on some alligators?" I was like, "Why not?" Let's go. These
Yeah,
movies are fun to make. They're sort of action packed, they're scary, they have these kind of funny moments to it. But the script is really cool. And we got to shoot in Thailand, and it's just so many great characters in this movie. And of course, I get to sort of be this badass sheriff that sort of,
mhm.
I don't know, manages to make her way through the night with these prisoners and alligators. So it's a very fun script to read on paper. It's kind of crazy that we actually were able to bring this to life and make it work, considering all the elements. And we're in Bangkok and night shoots, and we're in a factory that's filling up with water. And it's a very, very challenging movie to make.
Most definitely. And I mean, you're kind of getting used to this type of environment. You worked with CGI prior.
Yep.
You had a mechanical shark in that one, and your previous movie Man Eater. In this one, your CGI with the alligators, which I thought looked amazing.
Yeah, you liked
What,
it. Yeah.
yeah, what were some of the challenges working with CGI?
it's just
Yeah,
it's just that's not real. It's You
yeah,
have to create this fear. I need the tangible things. Like, so for me it's like, it's not so much, it's more about keeping the suspense of the entire thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
like, you got to think that there is genuinely an alligator coming at you, like, which in real life I'd be screaming and running. But it's a movie, so you've got to hold the fear and hold the energy to keep everybody watching in the suspense when there's nothing there, just like one of those little red lights sometimes on the floor to show us where it is. And that's the hardest thing, is keeping the sort of energy up, you know what I mean?
yeah. Most definitely. I mean, I know I couldn't do it. I can imagine what it would be like, but there's no way I could act it out. But
Yeah, there's a movie toward the as a section toward the end where I'm by myself, and I come out, and I think there's a couple of them, and it's, I had to really psych myself up inside the room before I go out there, because
yeah,
I tried to make that moment like, there's a good chance I'm just about to get chomped up here, and she's got one bullet,
yeah,
and it's like, it's only going to take out one.
yeah.
Hopefully, it's going to, without giving away the movie, it's going to have a good effect on it. But it's hard, yeah.
You got to make it count.
Hmm.
And then your filmography, you've done a little bit of everything. It's so hard to place you. It's not a terrible thing to into one genre, which I love. Was that your intent to begin with, or did it just happen that way for you?
I used to do so much comedy, and then I did a lot of drama, and then back and forth,
Yeah,
and TV and movies. And I've gone from working with Terrence Malick to making these artistic pieces to, yeah, you're right. My career is so widely spread, and a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people tend to stay in like sort of a specific. I love that it goes this way. I'm not opposed to doing things that get put in
yeah,
front of me. If they're like, it's not really your vibe, well, then give it to me. Because that's
yeah.
more of an incentive for me to do it. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see what I can do with this. And I love it. I miss comedy. I haven't done comedy for a while. I did do a spot on a TV series this year, a great comedy that's coming out. And it felt good to be back in that energy as well. I really like that my career's gone in this way, because, yeah, a lot of people like, you shouldn't do that with your career. You should sort of zone in on one thing. But why?
Yeah.
I'm an actor, so I'm, able to play all these different things, and or at least be like, I don't know, let's just see if I can do this. And I just love the fact that they keep sending it to me. I'm like, all right, if you think I can do that, I can do it.
That is no, that is awesome though, and you're right. A lot of people can't say that about themselves because they get stuck on one, one particular genre. That's
Yeah,
what I decide to stick with.
yeah.
Is there any other creature feature you would love to do? Perhaps big spiders or anything like that?
Who knows what's coming next with me? I mean, I get some stuff handed to me, I got to
Yeah.
tell you. I mean, who knows? Kind of like sci-fi stuff. I'm a bit of a Star Wars nerd, so I wouldn't mind sort of if that came along, I'd be sort of interested to, dive into that. That'd be a cool world to kind of play in for a while. But I'd also like to do period pieces, but I don't know if they think my face looks very period piecey, but I don't know. I'm getting older now, things are changing. So we'll see where my career goes. I started out doing things like Hall Pass, which is this blonde sort of character that's all very sexy and this and that. And so I like where my career's headed. It's going in a different
Yeah.
place now, it's sort of I'm getting to play different stuff now, and I'm glad because it's as you get older, you feel like you want to do different things and then sort of show different parts of yourself where you've grown in your life and that. So I don't know what's coming next, but I'm sure it will be something random.
I'm sure it'll be great because so far everything has been great. And speaking of great, this movie, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. The best way I can describe it is Assault on Precinct 13 with alligators.
I love
It was great. And there was so much conflict injected in the script and the plot. You had the alligators, you had these armed men show up, and then you had the weather, the natural disaster, almost like a natural disaster. I mean, there was like, Hurricane Katrina out there causing the flooding. Is there any natural disaster that absolutely just terrifies you? That you'd hate to be
that.
in, or have you been in one before?
No, but a tsunami. Oh my God, it freaks me out so much. A tsunami would be like just the way that movie that Naomi Watts did, The Impossible. Oof, a
Yeah.
tsunami, a wall of water coming in. Because a twister, you can kind of be like, well, we can kind of burn around it. Storms, you can find cover. There's sort of things, water, I can swim, these floods rising. But don't bring me a tsunami. There's no getting out of that. The thing I like about being inland of California is there's so many mountains and hills. It ain't getting into West
No,
Hollywood.
no, it would take a lot. I hear you. Yeah,
So
definitely.
no tsunamis, please.
And can you describe your character in this film? You play a sheriff. I believe her name's Joe Newman.
Mhm.
Can you describe her?
I think she sort of is. This film just goes boom straight into the storyline. There isn't a huge sort of character development in it, but as you can see, she's surrounded by a bunch of people that are not working that hard. A little lazy. She's kind of in that position where she's like, oh, here we go. And then she's got all these prisoners. Everything's coming up against her. And she sort of starts out pretty like, all right, let's just handle it.
Mhm.
Father was in the police force, so she's been in the mix. She's a tough woman. She's been around this a lot, but I think she's really pushed to the limits when she's got everything up against her. And I think that kind of tough act has to soften, and she has to trust some of these villains throughout the script, build their trust for them to survive the night. And she can't just kill these guys. She's got to keep them alive. So there's a lot that sort of happens to her throughout this script, and then sort of the relationship that develops between Casper's character and mine, and sort of she, I think, pretty soon off the bat, as soon as he steps off the bus, I think she clocks that there's something different about him,
Yeah.
which comes in handy later on. So yeah, I wish there could have been a little bit more character development with a lot of us, because these characters are so fantastic, but we've just got such a short amount of time, and we've got a team of alligators chasing us.
Yeah. No, totally. No, and you are right. You did bring up a great point. There were some terrific characters in this film.
Yeah,
All of them were, and they all they had something to do,
yeah.
in the picture. So that was great. Is there anything else you're working on right now or going to be working on that you can?
It's been a busy first half of the year. It's quietened down a little bit now. We've got the writer's strike happening at the moment, which has slowed the business down. But I did shoot a bunch of stuff at the start of this year, which is going to slowly unravel throughout the end of this year and early next year. So a couple TV shows and 2 other movies. So I'm looking forward to them coming out. I've got some stuff planned to film for the end of the year. So until then, it's summer holidays for me, and I'm not
Yeah.
complaining. I'm very grateful.
Well, that is wonderful. Well, you know what? Thank you so much. This was, a pleasure, and I hope we can do it again soon.
Thank you, love. Absolutely. Nice to see you again.
Great to see you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.